of Goddamn Year 1, 2, and 2, and it's top whatever day this comes out on. Oh boy, it is a swelter out today, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because I don't have the air conditioner on and it's really hot here and the lights are making it worse. And it's going to get bad. It's getting bad. Like I had the room pretty cold, figuring, all right, now turn it off and quick. But it's already. Anyway, today we're continuing our series of looking at the best cards in every main set of the game, and today we are looking at Ancient Sanctuary. Ah, yes, AST. Shout out to Ryan. The cool thing about Ancient Sanctuary is there's no ban cards in it, meaning we can actually have a couple of spots for some interesting cards. But it also means the list a little harder to make, because the set kind of stinks. Yeah, this set is really strange. It's not very powerful. Most of the cards in it aren't very good, and the cards that are good tend to deal with cards that don't come in the set, or they're not good until much later in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's really hard to quantify this set, because if we look at this set in the bubble, some of the weirdest cards end up being good. But then it makes no sense to mention something like, I don't know, Venus, because yeah, she's really cool, but she doesn't really have a function in the set, so... But we're going to do our best to look at this set in the context of the set itself in a bubble, and as always, if I need to, I will use future context or current meta game or whatever to break ties. So without further ado, number 10. I'm starting to feel like him, the king of the swamp, or whatever it's called. He's going to be our kind of honorary, doesn't really work in the set, but is good at a different time card. To kind of, you know, just, that's not an honorable mention. It'll be him. I picked him. Basically what you do is you can count as any fusion material for any fusion monster you're trying to fusion summon, whose name is specifically named on that fusion monster. So if it's like, I don't know, Dark Paladin, you can count as Dark Magician or the Buster Blader when you're trying to make that fusion summon. Marty's pawing at my butt right now. Stop! Or you can discard this card from your hand to add one polymerization from your deck to your hand. See, and this is why this card's kind of a problem. I'm not sure there's a fusion monster even in this set, and I know for certain polymerization's not, so he technically, if you look at just the set, has literally no function, but, you know, he's decent fusion support, so it would make no sense not to use him. So he's number 10. Now that we got him out of the way, let's start looking at some of the weird ones. Solar Flare Dragon. I told you this set's kind of bad. He's level 4 fire pyro dude with 1500 attack and 1000 defense with the following effect. If you control another pyro type monster, this monster cannot be attacked during each of your end phases. Your opponent takes 500 damage. Now that might sound like it's terrible, and it is. But if you have two of these on the board, your opponent can't attack like anything if that's the only two monsters. And they keep taking 1000 burn damage during every end phase of your turn. So hey, if you can stall out for 8 turns with two monsters that are a stall combo, you might be able to burn your opponent for game. And if you're looking at just the context of the set, this is probably actually kind of viable in a very, very slow format, like something this old. Is that very good? No. Is it gimmicky? Yes. Is it good compared to all the other crap that's in this set? Sadly. Alright, next card. Level Limit Area B. Yeah, if you couldn't get 2 solar flares on a field, you could certainly stall out with this in a solar flare until you get the next one. Level Limit Area B is a continuous spell card that reads, on level 4 or higher monsters will switch to defense position. The cool thing about this card is back in the day, most normal summonable monsters were probably level 4 because you were probably just playing a bunch of beaters that needed to be as strong as possible, so that most likely meant they were as high as a level as possible for a normal summon without tribute, which is level 4. How did I get through that sentence without stammering? And if your opponent manages to summon anything bigger than a level 4, it gets put to defense mode anyway. The only thing that getting under this thing are cheesy level 3s and things like that, and at the time there wasn't very many good ones. So if you're playing a card like this, maybe you're trying to draw Exodia, or maybe, I don't know, you're playing a bunch of moderately high attack power level 3s, and you're going to try to cheese over your opponents with their crummy defense. Either way, this is a grandpa of the floodgates, so, you know, I guess it gets its dues. Number 7 is Borg the Thunder Monarch. Yeah, this is actually, I believe, the first Monarch monster. So I figured Borg should probably get a shout out on the list because, you know, we were getting Monarch support pretty much up until the modern era. So, you know, that archetype has got some longevity. And what does the Borg even do? If this card distributes summon, you can target one monster in the field and destroy that target. Okay, he's not great, but back in the day in a slower format, this kind of spot removal was pretty solid, and if you can stall your opponent out to get that tribute material on the field, or you hit him with something like, I don't know, Soul Exchange, that's a pretty nifty little +1 maneuver you can get away with, and then you have a big old beat stick on board. So you know what? In a slower old ass format, Borg isn't the worst thing in the world. Especially at this point, Thunder monsters were wildly under-supported. We didn't even have Watts or Batterymen at this point, so it was nice to see that there was at least some competent Thunder monsters. Oh no. When you start looking at alright, I lost the pants. I'm losing a shirt. You guys are gonna have to deal with me looking like a bum in a white undershirt. I'm sorry. I know it's unprofessional, but you can freaking deal. It's a YouTube channel about card games. Ugh. At least I smell like a Yu-Gi-Oh player at this point. Ugh. Geez, I need a shower. Special Hurricane. Oh, the weird things that pop out of the list if you start ignoring things that are good in other formats. I had never even heard of this card until I went through the set, which is amazing because I bought a lot of this set back in the day when I was a wee tot, and I have just never seen this thing, which is just really strange to me because I thought I'd pretty much seen every card in the game. Special Hurricane is a normal spell that reads, discard one card from your hand and destroy all special summon monsters on the field. You know what? It's actually not the worst thing in the world. Sure, you know, Regeki and Dark Hole and hell, even Lightning Vortex are better cards than this, but the fact that this only kills special summon monsters means, you know, hey, we just looked at a Monarch card and we got some, you know, normal summonable stall cards on this list, so you could make a pretty decent anti-special summon deck. Not that at this point in time special summons were as prevalent as they are now, but hey, you could at least make the argument that, you know, if your deck doesn't special summon a ton, like, I don't know, Monarchs or True Drago or something, you could make the really bad argument that this wouldn't blow up any of your stuff, especially if something like Regeki was still in the ban list or something. So it's a kind of an obscure relic, but it's not awful. It's kind of funny that it even exists. The End of Anubis. One of my underrated card videos is actually End of Anubis, because I know what, back in the time, it was like Duelist Alliance format or something like that. He was actually pretty solid because we had Burning Abyss and Shadal's at that time, and they all in S-Knights. Then they all just either did something in the grave or targeted something in the grave to do something in the grave. So that makes End of Anubis kind of like a walking Necro Valley. While this card is face up on the field, any card effect that targets a card in the graveyard or activates in the graveyard is negated. Yeah, he's a walking Necro Valley. And at 2500 attack with 0 defense and being a Dark Fiend, which means his typing's pretty good, his attributing's pretty good. With that 0 defense, there's some cheese you can do with that, and at 2500, he's at least big enough to be a problem for a lot of decks. And that he's not a 7 but a 6 means that, hey, woot, you only need 1 tribute if you're even going to tribute summon this thing to begin with. It's good. That's good for like pendulums and things like that. Overall, it's a really solid little tech choice in a particularly grave-dependent meta, so, you know, I'll keep him on the back burner, especially if we find a decent way of searching him. I didn't really look at the tips. There actually might be a good way of searching. I don't care. But yeah, he's actually pretty solid, and he's a secret rare in his set, so that's cool. Enemy controller. This one probably should be number 1 if we were looking at the cards just at their face value of how good of a card they are. But there is a few limits in this set, so he gets bumped up to, what is this, 4? Yeah, he gets bumped up to 4. Poor Econ, it's actually good. The enemy controller is a quick play spell. With 2 effects, you get to pick one. Target a face-up monster on a field, changing defense position, which is okay. Or you can tribute a monster to target 1 monster on your opponent's field, take control of it for the turn. Oh yeah, Layer of Darkness can cheese the world with this card. And what I like about the card is, sure, it has a tribute for cost, but if you can't meet that cost, the card isn't dead, which just makes it so good. I wish there was more cards like this, where if you couldn't pay the cost, it had another effect that just wasn't as good, but it was still something, so that the card isn't just dead half the time. That would be really, that'd be a really cool, you know, like card design for like a whole archetype to be like enemy controller. That would be awesome. And the fact that it's quick play means you can set it, use it like a trap. It's really versatile. You can chain it during like the end phase or draw phase. Your opponent's trying to cheese you with something. This is just a really solid utility card, and every once in a while it finds itself in the meta because it's just damn good. I could go on and on about Econ, but I ain't gonna dick around with any of these cards because it's like 90 degrees in this room right now, and I'm getting a little pissed off, and it's a lot of heartache and sweat and stink to waste on a set that isn't even that good. Number 3 is the first limited card in the set, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. Wall of Revealing Light. Activate by paying multiples of 1,000 life points. Your opponent can't attack with monsters equal to or less than the declared amount. So if you pay 1,000 life points, your opponent can't declare an attack with a monster with 1,000 or less attack. I don't know how you do that. You probably call 4, cover your bases, 5 if you're worried about Utopia to Lightning, I guess. This is a really crappy, I guess it's not really a battle trap. It's kind of a battle. You use it like during the main phase or at the start of the battle phases. I'm pretty sure you couldn't chain it to an attack. You couldn't respond to a declaration of an attack because that's already declared. I don't know. Maybe. I don't care. Long story short, I'm not really sure exactly why it's on the Forbidden Limited list of 1. The only thing I can think of is there's cheesy life point manipulation. This is one of the few cards that's just a flip and pay as much life points as you want. I could see you cheesing it with Life Equalizer and Trap of Darkness or some other garbage like that and burning them with Nurse or something like that. That's probably why. I don't care. It's not great, but it's at 1, so it's number 3. Night Assailant, he's number 2. Getting so sweaty and it smell like boo. I don't want to do this anymore. Night Assailant is on the Forbidden Limited list of 1 as well. Again, I think it's due to some sort of loopy, cheesy thing, and it's not even viable anymore, but okay, what does he do? He's a flip effect monster, and he's like a spectral form of one of the Gravekeeper dudes. Target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it when he's flipped. Oh, he's Man-Eater Bug. He's just beefy Man-Eater Bug. Whoop-de-freaking-do. But if this card is sent from your hand to the graveyard, I think, you can target a flip effect monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. See, that's loopy, it's not once per turn. Presumably, if you had more than 1, it says this card you can't add back with itself. It doesn't say you can't add back Night Assailant, it's only this card. So I'm pretty sure that means if you had 2 copies, you can whoop-a-jeep-a-wop-a-jeep-wah. So if you were just, you know, I don't know, discarding cards, I guess. When this card is sent from the graveyard, blank, target. Yeah, so it doesn't miss timing, or shouldn't miss timing, because it's not a when you can, it's when do. So, yeah, you could probably just basically cheese your way through discarding costs and things like that, or even discard for effect without actually losing any advantage. I'm sure there was some other dumb loop with 2 of these that I'm not thinking about, and I don't care, but again, that seems like it's a big waste of time for modern Yugi Mans, but hey, it's at 1, so it's number 2, and I think it's better than the wall. Honorable mentions! Let's go! Agent of Creation, Penis! Oh yeah! Venus is on the honorable mentions because she'd be in the same spot as, I don't know, King or that stupid Pyro thing. Speaking of freaking Pyro, yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. She doesn't really have much of a function in the set. You could say, oh, I could tribute her stuff for Econ. I don't lose a monster because it was a free shine ball. Okay. And I guess she makes it pretty easy to tribute summon big beaters because you just get a bunch of shine balls on board for, you know, $500 for a free little orb isn't a big cost on your life point wallet. So, hey, you know, okay, fine. But she really starts to shine when we get alternate summoning conditions like Synchro XC and especially Link, because the more bodies you get on board, the more of that crap you can do. So she's like just like summon 3 monsters for 1,500, unless you drew one, I think. Because I don't think you can get one from the deck. Oh, it's hand or deck. Doesn't matter. It's a waste if it's from your hand, though. It's not like it's not free advantage. But hey, you know, whatever. She's okay. I'm spending a lot of time talking about an honorable mention. Next, Dark Magic Attack and Burst Stream of Destruction. These are on here because, again, they have no function in the set, but they're actually pretty solid in the decks they're meant for. However, they didn't really work until way later. Like, you wouldn't run Burst Stream of Destruction in a Blue Eyes deck over Regeki nowadays, because Regeki is the same exact freaking card, but you don't have to have a Blue Eyes on board. However, Blue Eyes can now search Blue Streak with, I think, the field spell. I mean, it's still not good, but you could do it. You could make an argument for it to even exist now. And then Dark Magicians can most certainly search Dark Magic Attack. They're much better at searching Dark Magic Attack than Blue Eyes is at searching Burst Stream of Destruction. But yeah, they both can get them now. So, honorable mentions. And the last honorable mention that I put on here, despite everyone in the Discord telling me to take it off. Lady Ninja Yi. Is this thing good? I don't know. She's a level 3 wind warrior. You can discard another wind thing from your hand thing to the graveyard to bounce all the spells and traps your opponent's got. She's a walking giant Trunade. That's really not bad, you know? She doesn't have much of a function in the set because there's no like super power wind deck, and she's not super searchable until much later because she is a ninja, and she would require a very specific format with very heavy back row that you couldn't just sound strike it or whatever. But a walking giant Trunade is nothing to shake a stick at, so there you go. And the number one kinda best card in this set that's not enemy controller, but it's gotta be number one because of the rules I use, Monster Gate. Monster Gate's actually probably the biggest reason why you could consider Venus to be actually on the list instead of, I don't know, King, because she would help you pay for this card or Econ pretty easily, and that is in the context of the set. So you can move these numbers around all you want. I don't care. I really don't care. What does Monster Gate do? You contribute a monster, and you start excavating cards off the top of your deck until you hit a monster you could special summon, and then you special summon it, and then you just mill all the other cards you excavated. It's basically reasoning, but you don't have to rely on your opponent fudging it in order to get the monster. So, but it's not a free monster. It's an egg one. But if you mixed it with the shine balls, it's not necessarily, so that's cool. And yeah, the utility of milling like half your deck if you're running a bunch of spells and traps is awesome, because you're probably running spells and traps like Breakthrough Skill, or that one that does like damage reduction is bad, or Galaxy Cyclone, crap like that. So that's neat, I suppose. But Sky Striker, I guess, because then you get all the. I got 3 spells in my graveyard. I got a stream after this. Oh no. Okay, you know what? Screw it. You guys know what Monster Gate does. Well, anyway, guys, that was the list. I freaking folded in this time because the set's bad. It's like 100 degrees in here, and I'm gonna pass out from heat stroke. So let me know, guys, in the comments below what you guys think, and I will see you guys next whatever day this comes out, probably Tuesday, for Soul of the Duelist, which I think might actually be the first one without a banned or limited card. So it finally breaks the streak. That one's gonna be a pain in the butt because then I actually gotta read things. We'll see you guys next time. Yeah.
The Destiny board tells me that you should subscribe to the channel, or you can watch some of these other videos. Now excuse me, my Millennium Ring has detected another Millennium item. Oh, it's It's just Merrick.
Bakura, did you remember to get milk? We're out of milk. This milk is bad. It was terrible.